What is up, my friends? Welcome to My Chemical Fancast. I'm Haley.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast dedicated to all things My Chemical Romance. This week, we're doing a 2-in-1 episode of patron requests.
Yes.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, so this week in My Chem news that isn't super depressing. Actually, should we start with the bad news first?
Sure, let's do bad news first. Just get it out of the way.
Eden Sessions, it's a no-go, officially. Officially canceled. A bummer for everyone. I don't think they've officially canceled the rest of the UK dates, right? But the Eden Sessions are off, which is a bummer. But you know what? We all expected it. Who's surprised?
Nobody.
No one's surprised.
No, I mean, everything else for the summer is probably going to get postponed as well.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I know. Maybe the fall. Like, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to think about it.
I really
Maybe
don't want to think about it, but it, I'm anticipating it. Anyway, in happier news, Gerard released some things on SoundCloud because he would like to be a ray of sunshine for all of us, which he is. He released a couple like unfinished tracks, Success, Crate Amp, and then Phone It In.
Yeah, which is so fun.
It's
what
a bop. Yeah.
It's so much of a bop. I'm here for these vibes. I needed these bouncy vibes, I needed to be told that it's okay not to put effort into shit anymore,
I love a couple little call-outs that he has in there as well.
Oh, yeah. Painting these mini metal skeletons.
Oh, yeah.
You say I'm dressed like a bum.
Fuck you.
Fuck it. Fuck all of it. You know what? I think all any of us want is to have been successful enough that we can reach the point that Gerard is at where he's like, I don't give a fuck,
Yeah,
like,
that's the
goal. Do not give a fuck.
That's the ideal.
And even in not giving a fuck, like, his lowest effort is still incredible.
Yeah.
Like, his lowest effort is a way better than, like, most of us can accomplish. Imagine if he was working at full capacity. What would happen?
I think we would explode. I don't know if we're ready for that. I don't know if this timeline can handle it. I think when 2019 ended, I think you know the Mayan calendar.
I am familiar.
Where the world was
I did live through
end.
the year 2012.
Yeah, where the world was supposed to end on December 12th or 21st.
Yeah.
21st. It was the 21st, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
I think they just got it wrong by 8 years. So I think after the MCR concert, the day after the MCR concert, everything just fucking went to shit. Like, the world actually ended, and this is hell.
I agree. My 2020 is going horribly, so...
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I agree. And, like, maybe 2019 was so good because it was like, how when you're about to die, your brain sends out a bunch of good feeling, like, hormones, to, like, make you have one last good moment before the end. Maybe that was 2019.
The universe sent out the serotonin for us for like a minute.
Yeah, and then like now is the afterlife.
Yep. We all went to hell. This is it.
That's my theory.
Yeah, that's
Who haven't you heard from in a long time? They didn't go to hell.
Wow, I like that theory.
Also, we have the quarantine coloring book. If you're not on that already, get on it. A great activity for your quarantine. There's some really good pages. It's like on Gerard's Instagram, and there's like a whole Instagram for it, but it's some really good coloring pages by some really cool artists, including our favorite artists.
Hell yeah.
Joy and Lisa.
Yes. I was like taken aback when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. They're here.
Yes, they're Vestilator and Happy Humbug on Instagram.
Wow.
And they do the really cool MCR fan comics, Death Wish. And they made a page, and it's great. And it's, like, very intricate.
Yeah.
You can spend a lot of time coloring that. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and Ray did one as well, which was exciting.
And Ray. But you know what? I'm not as excited about Ray's as I am about Lisa.
Oh my gosh.
No shade to Ray. Just, like, big props to Lisa and Joy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I hope you guys are holding up well. it's a rough time. If you're not doing well, that's understandable, and, no one can blame you for that.
Not a bit.
Like, it's, if we have learned anything from My Chemical Romance, it's that it's okay not to be okay, and what a time not to be okay.
Yeah. Oh, well,
like,
at least,
if you're gonna pick any time.
Yeah, at least we're all collectively not okay, and we can commiserate. But it's, so it's Monday, when this comes out. It's Monday. And so that means the Frank video is out.
Oh, that's true.
We haven't watched it yet because it's not Monday. Okay, so when this comes out, this will be such a serotonin boost that it will carry me through the week. I need this. I'm so excited for it. I don't know what song it's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know. But I'm so excited. It'll be the first really good thing to happen to me in a very long time.
Yeah.
It might be the first good thing to happen to me since the MCR show.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to need that shit. I'm going to need that shit injected straight into my veins.
That sounds about right. So.
Yes. So today we are talking about, again, these are patron topics. The first one we had to talk about is, should we start with Projekt Revolution?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll bang that one out.
All right, Kelly's topic. Kelly wanted us to talk about MCR on the Projekt Revolution tour. I think, I think we can all agree this was a high point.
Yeah.
For touring My Chem. Like, this was an incredible tour. I mean, my
God, what a tour. Like, if you're gonna time travel, this is where you'll want to go.
Yeah, whenever someone presents that situation to me, like, if you could time travel back to, like, a time when My Chem was touring, which tour would you go on? Like, it's so hard for me.
It's either the Maxwell's show or Pro Rev.
Yeah, like, I want to do, like, some bullet shit or, like, some revenge shit, but then I'm like, oh my god, Pro Rev exists. Like, I think I might have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, an incredible tour. So this was the tour that was put together by Linkin Park. It was like, I think they chose the bands, etc.
Good for them.
And what I find interesting about this tour is that I feel like the audiences for Linkin Park and My Chem were a little bit different. And then the other bands that were also on tour, except for, arguably Taking Back Sunday, were like, I consider them a lot heavier than My Chem, Like, they're not quite heavy metal or anything, but I do definitely consider them, like, they weren't this sort of, like, pop punk or, like, pop emo thing that MCR was grouped in because of what was on the radio, Like, this isn't your Fall Out Boy, Panic, MCR kind of band, Like, they were on the tour with Him, with The Bled, Art of Chaos. But yeah, I feel like a lot of those bands are a lot heavier, and so, like, that audience that's going to Projekt Rev might not necessarily be the audience that was into My Chem at the time. So I think maybe that contributed to their stage antics on this tour.
Oh, for sure.
Because there were a lot of antics on this tour.
Lots. They increased dramatically on this tour. And you know what? Good for them. I think they got a lot of converts after this tour.
Yeah.
Or during this tour. This was, I think, also kind of at the height of their popularity. So they had a lot of money. They had a lot of pyro. A lot of, there were actually less legitimate theatrical elements on stage because there were no costumes, Yeah,
besides, like, Gerard's jacket,
Yeah. But he wore a bunch of different outfits on this tour. There was the sheriff outfit, which became iconic.
Yeah, iconic.
Yeah, everyone's fucking buck wild. Everybody gets married. Mikey goes on a honeymoon. Matt Cortez fills in for him. Gerard gets married. Backstage after a show.
Girl Lindsay. Yeah, for sure. And, like, I think they probably, like, had a lot of animosity from the crowd or whatever, because, like, thinking back to not even just the antics, but also, like, Gerard was so over the top in, like, his stage voice and the things that he would say on that tour. And I think he probably felt like they had something to prove,
Right. Insert David Cassidy quote.
Yeah, right? Insert literally any quote. My favorite moment of the tour, I don't remember what city this was in. It's probably during Prison. the song starting, Gerard, for some goddamn reason, has this flower tucked into his, like, belt.
Oh, yeah.
And he walks side stage, pulls it out, and, like, tosses it at some girls. And it's hilarious because, like, it's such a, like, Lothario rock star move. And it just, like, it's
incredible.
It's so, like, kind of out of character, but he sells it and he, like, shakes his hips. It's great.
Yeah. Like, there she goes. Good for her.
Truly, savior emo cowboy on that tour. Incredible. Also, I don't know what there is to say about the fight besides the fact that, like,
it happened.
There was a very infamous stage fight between Frank and Gerard.
I don't even think it was a fight. I think they were fucking roughhousing. And
yeah, I think Frank just, like, got in his space, and Gerard was like, "Get the fuck out of my space.
Get off."
And Frank was like, "I'm holding an entire guitar."
I think that's what makes it so iconic. Is that Ray just continued playing.
Yeah.
He just was like, y'all hear some? Like, just...
Was that during Sharpest Lives?
Yeah, it was during Sharpest Lives. He was doing the
like,
Wahoos.
Yeah, because I still, whenever I hear that song, I just hear the fight. And, like, I can't... I hear the guitar dropping out, and, like, I can't unhear it. Incredible.
I think it's the funniest fucking thing. I love that video.
Yeah, it was an incredible tour. I think it solidified a lot of, like, MCR's stage reputation at the very least. Mm-hmm. And then after this tour, like, I think this was, like, the peak, of them being kind of rebellious on stage.
Right.
And after this point, I think they sort of let that antagonism go, and they're more like peace and love.
Mm-hmm. Can we also talk about the fact that this was during the Black Parade era? Like, I don't associate Pro Rev with Black Parade at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because Gerard's hair is black. Maybe it's because they're not wearing costumes. But, like, this was smack dab, like, in the middle, Black Parade tour. But I don't associate it with, like, the Black Parade era at all.
I can definitely see that. It's like some sort of weird, like, crossover show, mm-hmm. right? Between the Black Parade and, like, a very rebellious fucky rock band, that's, like, slightly more conventional. Like, I definitely get that because there was a lot of pyro, but theatrically it was a little bit more stripped down, I think. Mm-hmm. And then also just their onstage presence, like I mentioned, was totally different.
Yeah.
Like, there was obviously still a lot of drama from frontman Gerard Way, mm-hmm. but it was very much a different kind of drama, and it was just a lot more like crowd feedback and like a back and forth than putting on the theatrics of the Black Parade.
Right.
I don't know if it feels more like Revenge or more like Danger Days somehow, but like...
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like...
MCR crossed with another of their eras.
Yeah, it's just kind of like off in its own realm.
It's its own bubble.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not surprised that we got like a patron request to talk about it, because it is
it's iconic
thing. A very unique point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do we have anything more to say about Projekt Rev?
Gosh, I don't know what else we could say.
The only other thing I have to mention is that I'm on the Wikipedia for it, and in every other year it shows you like who's on the tour and what dates they played, and then it shows you the set lists, except it only shows you Linkin Park set lists. Obviously because it's their tour. Except in 2007, where it shows 5 Linkin Park set lists, mm-hmm. and then a My Chemical Romance set list.
Of course.
Like, that shows their power. No other band has a set list listed on here besides Linkin Park, except for My Chemical Romance.
Wow.
And this tour went on for multiple years, but, like, they were so powerful. They warranted
the icons.
Their set list being in this Wikipedia. See? Like, wow.
Yeah, it just proves, They're incredible.
Notorious. All right. That was Patron Request 1. Patron Request 2, who's it from, Haley?
This one is from Jen.
And Jen wanted us to talk about MCR and world building.
It's time for story time. So, Jen requested to speak about world building because when we're talking about the albums so in depth and so under the microscope, it's hard to see the, the forest for the trees. So let's talk about the concepts or lack thereof as a whole. And like what the...
Or lack thereof as a whole.
You know.
Oh my God.
So while we're talking about...
the shade.
While we're talking about lack, I'm not saying, it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that maybe on their first album, they didn't have a solid direction.
Sure. No one would argue. No one would argue, let alone the band. They had an idea about an idea, and they called it the Demolition Lovers.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So it doesn't really have a storyline. But if you want to put one on there, it's about the Demo Lovers, kind of, but not really. It's about how they met, about how they died. We're just like introducing the concept of the Demo Lovers, which becomes more fully, I'm putting very lightly on fully fleshed out in Revenge.
Where's all this shade coming from? My God, I cannot see. Oh my goodness.
So these babies didn't know what they were doing, and that's okay. They don't need to.
God.
They don't need to know what this is Bullets. They don't need to know what they're doing yet.
Okay.
They don't have to have a solid 1,000% thought through concept for this album to melt your face off. It's an incredible album. Nobody's arguing. So we're getting into Revenge.
Yes.
Right? Unless you had anything to add on Bullets. I don't know what you could add, but...
No, I mean, like, world building essentially does not really exist in Bullets besides, like, setting the tone for the band, which is not exactly world building.
Yeah.
But in Revenge, they really go at it. Like, I think Revenge's concept, even though I'm unclear about the exact plot, but I think as far as building a world, I think it does it really well. Like, I think the songs are very, like, detailed in their lyrics, and, like, it doesn't set a world up as much as, like, I guess, Danger Days, because
Right.
that's, like, I think, or even Black Parade, because I think those are the most cohesive, but it still, like, it still does give you a plot, Like,
yeah.
someone is, this guy is trying to avenge his girl, Like, we get a story, we get sort of, like, maybe a vague roadmap of, like, where he's going, trying to get these 1,000 evil souls.
Yeah.
So, like, there's definitely a story here.
Yeah, there is definitely a story. We're following, the man trying to be reunited with his love. And then he goes on the journey to kill 1,000 evil men. And then he realizes that the last evil soul he has to take is his own. So, there's that dramatic ending. And so then the ending of it is like kind of left up to the listener. It's like, does the woman come back to life? Is the man sent to hell? Are they reunited in hell? Who can say? Certainly not Gerard. This is like the biggest...
These questions will never be answered.
Yeah, this is like the biggest at Gerard question in the entire podcast.
I don't even want to hear his answer unless he can give me an essay about it. Like, I need an essay. Show his work.
You think that you would ask him a question and he won't give you a long-winded answer?
I need him to respond to our points.
Point by point. Listen, we'll give him an email. We'll have bullet points. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So the organization will be there. He can just go line by line and answer every single one of our concerns. He will do that, I'm sure.
Oh, good.
I'm sure he has time.
That way. I'm sure he has time.
Especially now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that Revenge really sets up a plot. However, it's not as strong in its visuals as Black Parade and Danger Days, which are very specific with the kinds of visuals that they set up, which I think is good. Like, I think that Revenge was like their sort of like their breakthrough album, and I think that would have hampered it. So, yeah, it's definitely not a knock against Revenge.
No, definitely not. And like the push behind it was that it's an album about two kids that lost their grandma,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind when you're like, listening to the songs as a whole, and you're like, I don't know how this fits. It doesn't matter because it's about them losing their grandmother. So
then you get into the Black Parade, which has solidifies MCR's reputation as a true concept band, I guess.
Yeah,
because the way their album art was, and the way the Welcome to the Black Parade video was, and their costumes on stage, everything was so much more cohesive, and they were like really putting you in this aesthetic that they had come up with. Plot, I think, here is not as necessarily clear as Revenge, like there is a patient, there's hell, there's some sort of kind of redemption arc or something, but like it's a little bit unclear from the songs where exactly that goes.
I feel like that the point isn't so much as to identify it as a redemption arc as it is just like the patient has cancer, the patient dies, the patient goes on a journey through death and examines his life. And, whether or not that's a redemption arc, I think is up for debate.
Right. Yeah. And like, I think you're right. And I think you can really see the evolution in how they approached the concept because, they started with like a very loose concept. In Revenge, they really became very literal with it in the music. In Black Parade, they loosened it up in the music, but they came a lot stronger with the visual aesthetic of the album and the presentation. And then in Danger Days, they were like, plot, we don't need a plot. We just need like some good ideas. We need some thematic, sounds tying this together. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do all visuals all the time.
Yeah. A high concept, as Gerard liked to call it.
Yeah, and then you get the narrative and the world building mainly in the album art and then the videos especially.
Right, definitely the videos.
Which was not really the case in the other albums, except for Welcome to the Black Parade on the Black Parade. Right. But the other videos in that didn't really match the album aesthetic as much as that one.
Mm-hmm.
Danger Days, like, it just like took it so next level, in part because they were trying to avoid making the music, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But, like, a lot of it, actually.
There was so much like planning that I think when you're doing like really effective world building, you have to do a lot of planning that doesn't end up being what someone sees.
Right, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, and
like backstories.
Yeah, and that was definitely present here. Like every sticker that's like on the car or like the patches on Fungool's like jacket or shirt.
Yeah.
Like for the Supastinga Demolition Company, like that was all planned out.
Right.
There was a reason behind all of those things.
Yeah, and I like that, the high concept portion of it allows him to just kind of say like, all right, this is a radio broadcast from a post-apocalyptic future because this DJ is doing this, whatever. And it allows him to create things around the music where he doesn't necessarily have to focus on world building within the music and incorporating like characters and storylines in the lyrics. Mm-hmm. He can just kind of do whatever he wants in the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then in the videos, that's when the real like character development and world building takes place.
Yeah, definitely. And then also in like the comic book.
Hey,
Crazy. What crazy times. What fucking band is this? I don't even fucking know. Ridiculous.
Don't know her.
Too much. She's honestly too much for me. So you can see that like they took this idea of the concept and they redid it every time. They did it in like a new way every single time they went in.
Yeah. I think that's part of what keeps people so invested because like, if they were just doing like, oh, I'm doing a story, like that's super cool if you're doing a full like conceptualized story for every single album. That's a lot of work and it's a lot of creativity and a lot of thought, but it also, if you're doing it every single time, it gets to like, all right, now you're like, I don't know, why don't you just write a novel, So I think, I think they kept things really interesting and they kept people coming back to be like, all right, how are they going to do it this time? Because they like, they turn everything on its head every time. So like their idea of a concept becomes different every time.
Yeah, and I feel like they're kind of even rethinking the idea of a concept now. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously we don't know if there's going to be an album, what it will look like, but even with their return tour, like that whole video and the way it involved both the band and the audience, like that is a new way of thinking about the concept. Like,
Yeah.
they suddenly, because they've always inhabited these concepts when they did inhabit them like characters. Like, in the Black Parade, they were the band, the Black Parade, you know? They were, like, the rock band of death. And in Danger Days, they became, you know, Party Poison and Funghoul and Cobra Kid and Jetstar, you know? So, like, they inhabited that world as personas. And then in the Return tour, they inhabited it as themselves.
Right.
Except you don't really see them. Like, they're there in theory and in the concept.
There is like a presence.
Right. But then, like, the actual inhabitant of that world is a fan.
Right.
So, like, it's like coming back more to reality now, but there's still this concept and this storyline through it about, like, summoning, you know, the band summoning us and us summoning them, and it's still like this rethinking of it, which is really interesting, and I'm really bummed their shows have been canceled because I want to see how that plays out, man. We're in the concept. We're in the world.
We're living the concept.
Like, we're all learning about magic now. Like, this is the world. This is the world building.
Yeah, this is it.
Like, you're in it.
I think after Danger Days, they realized that their fans were so into that world building aspect because we played so heavily into the Killjoy world.
Yeah.
And we contributed to the building of the Killjoy world.
Yeah. It wasn't intended to involve the fans, but it did. It, like, the end result was that it did.
Yeah, and I think, you know, they kind of took that line of thought into this, where, like, all right, so the fans are going to help, you know, whether they realize it or not, are going to help build this this new concept and this new kind of world that we're going to be living in. Yeah.
My God, they're good at this.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the band My Chemical Romance? They're just, like, really good at all this stuff.
I don't know who they are.
Oh my God.
Never fucking heard of them.
Yeah. They're probably overrated anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
I did want to mention that I think we're all aware of this podcast episode of Carry the Fire podcast that Gerard was on a couple days before the reunion announcement.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks a lot about world building on that podcast and sort of like how his big influences also involved a lot of big world building, like Star Wars and D&D. And, like, he doesn't mention this, but I was also like, Catholicism? Like, world building might be a slightly incorrect term for Catholicism, but, like, listen, they've got heavy aesthetics, right? And then we have this cast of characters.
Yeah.
Inri the Saints. You know, like, I can see it. It's a very involved religion when you compare it to, like, Protestantism. But yeah, and, like, he talks a lot about, like, how he essentially wanted to do that when he grew up, but you can't be, like, a world builder as a job. And yet he turned it into that.
He sure did.
He made it. He made it work. So
wow.
yeah,
he's living his dream.
Yes. But that's a really good podcast episode. I would recommend giving it a listen. Yeah, that's why I'm so curious, like, if they release another album. What the hell is it gonna be? They always surprise us.
I don't know.
How do they keep doing this?
Yeah. I'm trying really hard to be realistic about life and about how things are gonna go because I don't know if they're gonna release an album. They might not release an album.
I think they're gonna release some piece of music. It may not be an album.
I don't know.
But I think there will be something musical that is released. I think it's possible. I think anything is possible, okay? I think we're at least getting some kind of single or B-side or something.
Anything is possible. But it's 2020. And we have descended into the seventh layer.
That's true,
of hell.
I forgot we're in hell. Okay, we can't get anything we want.
Exactly. I don't think we can get nice things like that.
Oh, God,
maybe we can rely on Joy and Lisa to beam down one particle of heaven to us. So maybe we can get like an EP.
Oh my God, is that how we got phoned it in? We just get like SoundCloud things now? That's our only conduit?
That was it.
Fuck. We truly are in
I'll
hell.
take that over nothing.
Listen, so will I. I really like phone it in, but
yeah.
God damn it.
I know.
It's so hard to be in hell. No one tells you that, you know? No one tells you that before you go.
Oh, man. Can you please make that the episode title? I'm fucking dying. I can't handle this.
I just feel like the brochures made it seem better than it is, you know?
The brochure.
I was told, okay, there would be a lot of debauchery, okay? I was told that all the fun sinners end up here. But I still have to go to work.
We're not in the right layer, I guess.
Oh my god.
Maybe all the fun sinners got to go to another layer.
God. We ended up in the wrong version of hell. How can we be bad at this too?
I don't know. Maybe this is purgatory, okay? Maybe this is purgatory where nothing happens.
God damn it.
And if something does happen, it's not good. So, the further down you descend, the more debaucherous it becomes, you know?
How do I get there? Because I just want to be in fun hell.
I wish I could tell you.
Where are the adulterers?
Where are all the drug users?
Where are the people who wore shirts with 2 different fabrics in it? I want to meet those renegades.
The people who cut their hair and eat shrimp.
The people who eat owls.
Ugh.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Do we have anything more to say about these topics?
No.
I don't think so. But alright, thank you for sending your patron requests. I think now it is time to move on to some anecdotes. This one is from Elle, and here is what they say. Hey friends, so imagine this. Me and my best friend are dancing to music. It's 2012. I am 6 years old.
A child.
A child. I hear quiet piano notes playing through my friend's living room. I see her pretending to play air piano along with it, and I am confused. I brush it off, though. My friend and I always listen to music in her small living room while her family watched us dance and laugh. She always chose the music and would play things like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, and of course, My Chemical Romance. She continued to play My Chem throughout the years, and I paid no mind to it, but flash forward to early 2018. I'm obsessed with 21 Pilots, Panic, and Fall Out Boy. I see a song called Mama in my Spotify recommended list. I listened to it and bam, I loved it. I listened to it and added it to my playlists. I listened to it constantly. The guitars, the vocals, the lyrics. My 12-year-old self couldn't handle it. So I started to listen to their other songs and I was hooked. Now I had heard of them for a long time before I even started listening, so I knew they had broken up long before I cared about my now favorite band. So when I realized that they were gone, I just accepted it. This band has helped me through dark times that we won't go into, and they have helped me make friends. Later, I realized that my friend had planted the emo in my brain before I even knew what emo meant. So now it's the end of 2019, and I'm sitting here in my My Chemical Romance return shirt and living my best life. Also, fun fact, I burst a blood vessel in my eye when I found out they were getting back together. Anyway, this is getting long, sorry about that. I love the podcast, have a pleasant day. Elizabeth. Wow. Thank you, Elizabeth. I hope your eye's better.
Yeah. Okay. Our next fanecdote is from Katie, who is one of our patrons. So Katie says, the story of how I got into My Chemical Romance is pretty standard. Saw the Helena video on TV when I was 12 years old, fell in love instantly, never looked back. They're my favorite. Nothing is more comforting or feels more like home to me than this band. I had a cool experience this last year when I had to travel to Boston for work, and I stayed in this music-themed hotel that has record players in all the rooms and a small record library in the lobby. When I checked in, I noticed the hotel staff was wearing badges that had song prompts like, my favorite anthem is blank, and the guy helping me had written, Welcome to the Black Parade on his. I was ready to discuss MCR at length with this dude, but remembering I was 26 years old and that my coworkers were standing right behind me, I decided to play it cool and professional, and just told him that I appreciated his song choice, and we had a simple exchange about the Black Parade like normal people. On my way to my room, I glanced at the record library and didn't see anything that stood out to me. Later that night, I was coming back from dinner and decided to look at the records again, and sitting right in the front row, in a nondescript black sleeve, was 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I couldn't believe it. The other records were like Aerosmith and Rolling Stones and Billy Idol, so it felt a little out of place to say the least. I snatched it up immediately, said goodnight to my coworkers, and walked away as fast as I could back to my room where I stayed up way too late, partially working on my presentation for the next day and mostly dancing around my room, simply vibing to my favorite MCR album. I don't know if the guy from the front desk put it there and hoped I'd find it, or if it was just some perfect coincidence the universe gave me. But it's like, no matter where I am, MCR is always there to hold on to, and they always will be, regardless of the breakup or the reunion or whatever happens after that. I just love that, and I feel so lucky to exist on Earth at the same time as this iconic as fuck band / idea. Thank you, gals, for all you've done with the Fancast. It is literally so good and informative and enjoyable and important. Keep running, Katie.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds like a really dope hotel, and I want to go.
Yeah, sounds
like
good.
I've never really had a strong desire to go to Boston, but I do want to go to this hotel.
Yeah, I lived in Boston, and I don't know what that hotel is, so, it's elusive.
Sick. Cool. Thank you, Katie. What a great coinky dink.
Heck
now,
yeah.
Haley. It's the fun part. What is your song of the week?
Yeah. My song of the week. Realistically, I've been listening to show tunes nonstop for the past 2 weeks. However, I started listening to the Gorillaz album Humans again because I think, to be honest, this is going to be a hot take, but I think it's my favorite album of the Gorillaz.
Ooh.
Ass song, and the video is rad as fuck, and yep.
Hell yeah, sick ass song. My song of the week, I have sort of been in a weird period with music where I just don't have, I don't know, I don't have the brain power to listen to music a lot lately. It's a weird time. But I did listen to this new Run the Jewels song called Ooh La La, and it's a good tune, man. It's good for vibing, Ooh
la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. 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 Ooh la la. Looking for M's like I lost a friend. Jump out of my bed like where the bread. You go hold the egg. Way to bring the check. When we talk, we collision cars. Keep us in your thoughts. Fully dressed at the crack of dawn. Weapons heading off.
I think a lot of Run the Jewels beats are really good for vibing.
Yeah.
So I've been vibing.
We like vibing.
Here for the vibes.
Yeah.
We've done the thing, guys. We've done our fan anecdotes. We've done our songs of the week. And now it is time to thank our patrons. If you don't know, we have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/chemicalfancast. And if you pledge $2 or more a month, you will get your name on this pretty sweet list. And I'll read your name every single episode to thank you. And I will butcher it. And it will be a lot of fun for me. So yeah, if you want to support us, go there. We have some rewards. They're pretty cool. But in the meantime, this is a big thank you to Tim Malpass, Vanna Langton, Gabby Dauber, The Boy Phantom, my mom, Tara LaMantia, Cherith McGregor, Katie Kelly, Melissa Contreras, Phil Grant, Amber Johnson, Caitlin Carnes, Annalise Mullen, Dominique Ray, Liz Roswell, Bertha Villa, Jen Schillingberg, Vanessa Zermeno, Brianna Tong, Cassie Witt, Patricia Ignacio, Darcy Sheltman, Ella Bird, Jasmine Brett, Rihanna Graff, Haley's sister, Casey Gerhart, Jacob Grimm, Alex Hausman, Iris Lennons, Jessica Labrizzi, Montana Miller, Sarah Joe, The Millennial Freelancer, Bonnie, Katie Tinky, Kiel Haley, Fifi Mar, Megan, Emily Ronquillo, Brooke Tara, Kenya Noriega, Slim Marie Biggerts, Charlie Needles, Kathleen Harlow, Kristen Knight, Lisa Ridenour, Christine Giersvik, Kirsten McNally, Joanna Van Tyne, Robin, Elena Guerre, Kathleen D, Clarissa Thomas, Olivia Elliott, Jess Acton, Ray, Sam Newkirch, Jessica Taylor, Fandoms Forever, Tara Smith, Gigi, Jennifer Tashina, Allison Morris, Lucy Tima, Becky Hyde, Olivia Hamilton, Karen Islas, FT Wills, Layla Maddie, Sally from Melbourne, Evan Gorey, Sylvia, Michaela Zygmundova, Sage Ferris, Nicholas Reed, Emma Wilson, Kelly Vincent, Stephanie Diaz, Fjolnir Thor Andersson, Christina Sinkovic, Lena Mueller, the Self-Worth Habit YouTube channel, Amelia, and Remus. Thank you all so much for supporting our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Wow. What a journey.
What a journey!
Speaking of journeys, every day is a journey on social media. If you want to follow us on social media...
Every day is a journey on social media. What a segue.
You're welcome.
This is incredible. That is professional level podcasting. That is why Netflix wants to advertise in our show. Right there.
Got the good shit. If you would like to follow us on the socials, you can find us at Twitter and Instagram at Chemical Fancast, Facebook, My Chemical Fancast, and send us some words and things at mychemicalfancast@gmail.com.
Yes. Oh, guys. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Just because coronavirus might be peaking does not mean it's a great time to, start going places. That's the opposite of what it means.
It's the worst time to go places.
It's the worst time. It's not getting better tomorrow. So we all just still need to stay home and, do some coloring books, pet our cats, do some Zoom calls with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you can to, keep your spirits up for a while. And if we all do that together, then hopefully you'll be able to go back outside soon.
Think of the concerts.
Think of the concerts. Don't do it for yourself, okay?
Don't
do it for your grandfather.
Don't do it for your grandfather.
Do it because MCR has gotten back together after 7 years.
Yeah.
And we can't let this bring them down.
Yeah. Yep. That's that on that. If that doesn't get through to you, I don't fucking know what is going to get through to you if that
I don't know what will. Think of your fucking tickets. Remember how hard those were to get?
Seriously.
Do not let them go to waste. But in the meantime, I'm Kat.
I'm Haley.
This is My Chemical Fancast. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.